Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foul Ball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing very well. I'm doing great, thanks. Lovely to see you. This is my ongoing coverage of every single episode of The Expanse in order, thoroughly discussed. Thank you very much for taking this journey with me. I think it's really fun, very, very fun. I started doing this because I love The Expanse and I just wanted to talk about it. It turns out you guys wanted to listen, and that kind of rules. I've been having some really weird technical problems with my broadcasting recently, so please feel free to let me know in the chat if like I freeze up or if the delay, like the audio sync and the video sync is off. I don't know what's going on, but it hasn't been working. So if it looks weird, it's probably not you, it's probably me. So let me know so that I can adjust it and adjust accordingly. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just get into it. I guess I'll take the opportunity to welcome all you new people. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really cool that I've got all these new subscribers because of the last Expanse video that I put out. It means a lot. It's awesome. I'm very happy that you're here. Get to share the Expanse with you. Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just get into it. Let's just talk the episode. We're talking season 3, episode 5. I'm trying to bang all these out before the new season comes out next month. Don't forget, this month. Like 2 weeks from now, December 16th. It's coming right up. It's flying up behind us. So let's keep a lookout for that. I'll be streaming every single live episode. You know what I'm trying to say. Every episode that comes out, I'll be online talking about it quickly within a day or so. So stay tuned to check me out talking about that. Have some cool guests. Hopefully Lord Thoth and Jake D. And Lindsay, my friend Lindsay. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. She's no longer with the channel. She's got a lot of personal stuff going on, and she cannot commit to being a part of Foul Ball Productions anymore, which sucks. I loved having Lindsay on the channel, but she moved, and there's just a lot going on with her right now, so she just does not have the flexibility to stream and talk movies with me. I'm still going to do my Christmas movie streams, though. Every Monday, make sure you join me. I'll still be talking Christmas movies because I love the Christmas holiday. Hopefully, I'll have some people that can join me, stand in for her. That'd be great. But unfortunately, no Lindsay. Rats. Yeah, so I guess stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't. Press like on the video. It helps the video. You know what you got to do. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's just talk Expanse, baby. Let's go. If you do want to watch along, though, there's a watch party link in the description. So feel free to press that and join. And you can watch along with me as we watch The Expanse. You can see exactly where I'm at in the episode, so you don't have to like kind of guess, sort of figure it out where I'm at.
I find it to be more enjoyable that way. I think it's interesting.
I don't know, just seems to be an easier way to watch it. So feel free to do that. Watch along while we talk Expanse talk, you know? Talk a little Expansey poo. I think the last we left our heroes, they were on their way to Io, if I'm not mistaken. They have what's it like? Bobby and Avasala are like on the boat with them, on the Rossi with them, which is pretty cool. Fun little collaboration I never expected to see. It's pretty fun. Sorry, I was doing some technical flippy flops real quick. I'll be right back with you guys. Don't you worry. Are we golden? Yeah, we up and running. Lovely. Yeah. Oh, well. Rocinante and the Razorback en route to Io. Yeah, this is cool. I like the fact that the Razorback is in this. That we're all going. This is season 3 is a great season. So much cool stuff happens in this season. You get all this stuff that goes down on Io. You know, you got like all the cool fighting and space battles out here. Then you have all the stuff that happens in the ring with the belt and all. I mean, it's such a great season of television. It's so cool that it moved into this. That it like I feel like it built, you know. I think season 1 is excellent. Season 2 is really good but disjointed. But season 3 is just, I guess it's also disjointed in the sense that it feels like kind of 2 different stories. You know, like this whole thing with Io, and then the second story, which is like, you know, in the ring, which feels like a different story, kind of like a separate kind of subplot. I don't even know. Progression of the story is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, my brain is a little scrambled today. Oh, that is a cool looking gun that Prax is holding. What is that pistol? That was tight. That was cool. Yeah. So I guess in a sense it's kind of disjointed, but it flows really well, and it really pays off the whole proto molecule journey, and then just opens up the whole universe, literally, but also like the universe of storytelling potential in this show, which I adore. It's really interesting and exciting and unexpected. Never saw that coming. That Mars kid, the one of the soldiers that they are sailors that they captured from the Martian ship, they just released him back to the Hammurabi, I guess it's called, one of the Martian like battleships. That's cool. I like the way they show like, I guess the only like I like the way they show inside the Martian ship, and I guess the only like people you never really see inside of, you never really see inside of Jules Pierre Mao's ship, like those stealth ships. You never get inside those to feel what they're like. Those soldiers who had the blue, you never really get to know them. You never get close to them. They're more just kind of faceless villains. But they sort of go away. Now, this is funny. So this guy has got to explain to the admiral of the Hammurabi that James Holden and Avasarala were on a ship together, and they're heading to Io. And she's trying to help end the war, and the admiral's like, and the kid's not like incredibly bright, so the admiral on this particular one, I guess she's a captain. Sorry, is Captain Sandrine Carino, played by Krista Bridges. The way they use women in command in this show is, I think, pretty elegantly done. I think it's pretty excellently done, actually, because it never feels like every woman who's in command feels like they belong there. And then there's no comment on the fact that she's a woman. It's never like, and it's harder for me or anything like that. And, or you don't get like nothing, like there's no agenda about it. She's just there in command and that's it. Like you don't look twice at it. And in a lesser show, it would stand out and you'd be like, okay, right. I guess I got to get my daily dose of lecture of, sexist lectures. Okay. All right. What have I, well, why, okay. But this show never does that. This show does it perfectly, actually. And I love that about this show. I think I don't follow pretty much anyone from this show on social media because I don't really like following Hollywood people on social media. I mean, I live in Los Angeles and like most of my adult life was spent pursuing acting. And so I have to like follow these people. It just seemed like a professional obligation. But I mean, most of them are just a drag to follow, just a total drag. So I don't follow any of them. But I do know that like on the whole, like they're kind of preachy and I don't really agree with what they say and so on and so forth. The reason I bring it up is because despite all that, I never really see it in the show. I never really see them like lean into anything or preach at me or make anything too relevant to make a heavy-handed point about what they think. It's just it's just well executed. It's just elegant. It's elegant, and I really admire and respect that. Hail Draco. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, and it's like God bless it for that, It's a bastion of articulate expression of things that, a lot of people, I guess a lot of people want to see, and and because of that, the way they do it, it makes it more palatable and enjoyable. And then also like I feel like a lot of times when I'm watching stuff like that, I'm kind of half watching what they're saying behind the scenes, like what are they getting at? What's their agenda? What are they implying with this? But when a show is this elegant about it, I don't have to feel that way. I don't have to think in that regard. And I just get to enjoy the show for what it is. And that's even better because my immersion's even stronger. It works. It really works. And I don't think I'm like that crazy unique in having that point of view on my entertainment, To some people that would sound horrifying to their ears, but I don't think that's a crazy opinion at all. I think that's what you should be striving for, even if you are someone who has a really strong agenda that you want in your entertainment. If you lean into it, it's uninteresting. Always. It's propaganda at that point. I mean, who the fuck likes propaganda? You know what my favorite propaganda film is? Ugh, boring. I gotta tell you, I mentioned this last stream, but Avasarala looks great in that flight suit. Man, she's wearing the Razorback flight suit. It's all like sharp and like futuristic, and I guess for like a racing team, for like a 60-something-year-old woman, she looks pretty hot. Yeah. And it's a cool, man. The costumes in this they really kick ass sometimes. Like, I mean, they're all good. Not to say like the lesser cool costumes, so to speak, are uninteresting. I don't feel that that's the case. But they, some of them really kick, like the Martian power armor kicks, her Razorback suit kicks. Like, they just look badass. And it's even cool. They even got like advertisements on it. Like she's sponsored, like Julie Mao would have been sponsored, like that's great detail. Great storytelling, I think it was Godard. Is it Francis Godard? Is that his name? What's that guy's name? Lord Thoth. Hail, brother. Hail. Got to get you on this again, man. I want you back. On these streams. What's that guy's name? What's Godard's first name? That filmmaker. Jean-Luc Godard. I believe he's credited with saying that film is a collection of details, and I believe he is accurate in saying that. Because it's true. The more details, the more rich your world becomes, the more believable, the more immersive, which is the goal, so that you're just immersed in the story. You're not thinking about the fact that it's not real. You're just in it. It's like a trick. It's like a magic trick, and it works. When it works, it works. It works great. And so I think the more detail you put into stuff like that, the more immersive it is and the better the product is. My favorite propaganda film is Starship Troopers. It puts a harsh light on the idea of it. That's an interesting point of view, Draco. Yeah, I really enjoy Starship Troopers because that movie has a lot to say about a lot of things. But you could also completely enjoy that on a totally base surface level with no intellectualization. Got it. Of the deeper meanings. Like, you could just be like, that was fun watching them blow bugs up. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like think about like all the things with like the Yahtzees and what all the deeper meanings and stuff like that. You could just pick that was fun because it's a fun movie. That's same director as Total Recall. Verhoeven. Paul Verhoeven? P.V. Verhoeven. He did Total Recall, which is absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time with zero irony. I fucking love that movie. I loved it since the day I saw it when I was like, I don't know, 8 or something like that. And I have loved it ever since. It holds up really well. I just saw it on my DVD collection over there. Phenomenal. Vintage Schwarzenegger. Great sci-fi, great action, hilarious, ultra violent. Rules. Yeah, it is. And it's not even one that I feel even that guilty about, to be completely honest. Like, it's a cool movie, and it does have. I mean, Verhoeven's got some deeper stuff that he's getting at there, And it's interesting because I remember like when my dad and I saw it like in the theaters, he made like a joke and he was kind of laughing at the fact. He's like, what's his name? Doogie Howser looks like a Yahtzee. And it's funny, and it's like you're thinking about that, like, oh, that's funny, but actually, no, that was completely intentional. There's a lot of stuff going on with that movie that's bigger than just a bunch of pretty blonde kids from Argentina killing bugs. It's an interesting depiction, and it's not heavy-handed. I don't think. I mean, I guess if you understood, it doesn't feel heavy-handed to me. I'm going to stick with it's not heavy-handed, and it's fun. It's a fun movie. The book is awesome. Is it a comic book, Thoth, or is it a novel? I know it's based on some other material, but I don't know if it's a comic book or not. Speaking of comic book movies based on space action, I know what's his name? The guy, David Bowie's son, who did Moon. I guess he's working on some comic book adaptation novel. It's a novel. Okay, thanks, boys. Much appreciated. He's working on what's that guy? Duncan Jones. Duncan Jones' new movie is no, not Mute. Ugh, horrible. Graphic novel. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a bunch of blue soldiers, and it looked really cool. And it's the same people that make Dread, and it looked awesome. It looked nice and violent and like science fiction-y and fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm like pumped for that. If it, who knows, the future of entertainment, but it looks dope. And those types of movies are fun, man. I like that high concept science fiction action, just kind of high octane, testosterone, blowing shit up, violent. They're great. They're a lot of fun. Not like The Expanse. The Expanse is much more sophisticated, and they rarely do like action for action's sake, or do like if you do see extreme depictions of violence, it's done to make a really salient point. Like it's supposed to really get across something, like when that woman in season 2 was just thrown into the airlock and just slowly, and they just killed all the inners. Draco says a Starship Troopers is a Heinlein novel. There's a prevailing appreciation of the book over the movie. Interesting. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't read. I used to. I don't. I'm embarrassed and ashamed of this fact, but I just don't make the time to do it. I've been reading a few comic books here and there. I read The Umbrella Academy, which was amazing. Oh my God. So much better than the show. Like, even the first season, which was good, is not as good as the comic book. Like, the comic book is amazing. It's one of the most fluid cinematic comic books I've ever seen. Like, it just flows from frame to frame. It's hilarious. It's so and it bang, bang, bang. It moves and your eyes just follow the art, like the way it's designed and written. Like, you don't even need to, like sometimes I feel like I'm reading a comic book. I kind of need to like almost cover up half the page because my eyes will dart ahead. Not with this one. It just followed it perfectly. It was brilliant. If you haven't read Umbrella Academy, read Umbrella Academy. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. What's her name? Bobby, back to the Expanse. Bobby is putting together that super badass power armor. Now, in the book, I remember her power armor was an older model because she's big, like she's extra big, and she couldn't fit like into the new one or something like that. And she was very attached to like her old model of her old power armor. I don't think they get into that, but they do show her servicing her power armor like fairly regularly in this show. And it's cool. Like, it's kind of like in, Full Metal Jacket, when you see the Marines with like their rifles, like there's kind of a connection to their like weapons of war. It makes it very human. It's cool. Oh, this is tight. Yeah. On all that salvaged weapon and ammunition and stuff like that. What's her name? Bobby got some incendiary rounds for the minigun on her power armor. I mean, the fact that there's a show that has a Martian Marine who's like this badass with a minigun on her power armor, and it's this intellectual, is crazy. Is fucking crazy. Like, that this exists. It's such a confluence. I use that word kind of a lot, but it is such a confluence of like taste for things like, Total Recall or like the Fallout video game series, just stuff that's just like pure like genre fun. And then like, George R.R. Martin level like political world building, and then just like very like nuanced, articulate filmmaking like technique, and all those things coming together it's a miracle this show exists, that it's this cool and then this intellectually sound. I can't really think of anything that matches this. You could probably say like the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, probably, But this satisfies me more because I prefer science fiction to fantasy. So for me, this is even more enjoyable than even that could be, even though I did really love Game of Thrones when it was big. Yeah, I gotta go read some more of those Umbrella Academy graphic novels, Thoth, because they are like. I read the first one. And I was like, that was fucking amazing. Like, I'm blown away by how cool that was. I started reading Preacher too because I have a Kindle Fire, and like you get so many free graphic novels with that are like really high level, like classics. I'm like, there's a lot of comic book stuff, and I know like digital is blasphemous, but I mean it's a good introduction for me, and I like having it all on one little device. I dig it. And it's like it's opened my eyes to like just like the world of comic books. And like I think I almost prefer that because I like the visual component. And then you can put in a lot of complexity. And it's kind of like screenwriting. Like I've dabbled on some screenwriting things, and it's a real art form to write to screenplay because you can't just go on and on and on and describe as much as you want. Like you have to really pick your words in your stage direction about what is important to convey. And then you kind of, with very little, you have to put the image in the reader's head. And the funny thing too is, I mean, most people are never going to read that. The only people, it's like a technical document just for people who are making the films and stuff like that. So you have to put a lot into that. But that's kind of comic books too. I mean, obviously you get the visual, but with the writing, you don't get pages and paragraphs and paragraphs. You really have to be concise and choose your words carefully. And because of that, when it's done right, it's really rich and vivid and almost a more rewarding experience. But it's like, in a way, it's a more rewarding experience, or more obtainable, or maybe not dense, like rich experience. I mean, but that's to say like novels aren't, that's not what I'm saying at all, but there's a lot of value in it beyond what I think I understood for a very long time. And I'm happy to be getting into it. It's really cool. Yeah. Preacher's pretty rad, Thoth. Preacher's pretty badass. It's pretty good. The show adaptation was interesting. I watched the first season and I liked it a lot. I thought they made some weird choices though. Like they introduce you to this town and then they just kill everybody. And you're just like, well, I mean, I connected with these characters for a full season and now it's just like, they're all dead. It's like, I don't know if that's funny. You know, I think it's a similar team that did The Boys. And honestly, when in The Boys, like whenever they would kill like the sea life for like a joke, I'm like, that's not funny. I didn't find any of that funny. I didn't find it funny when they killed the whale, when they killed the dolphins, especially because like the Deep had all this empathy for them because they're like, we're suffering, we're in pain, this is horrible, please don't do this. And then they're just like, and he died. It's like, Jesus, dude. It's fucked up, man. I never understood what the joke was there. And like, I thought Preacher kind of had some jokes like that. You're just like, ugh, I don't know if that's funny, man. I don't really get that joke. No, I mean, you know, Seth Rogen's a funny guy. I know he was like one of the producers on it, but I don't know, for me, I didn't get it. Anyway, I'm not even talking about The Expanse. I'm talking about everything but. So they're on a ship and they're talking. This is Souther. Admiral Souther is going to interview Kotyar. Is that his name? Kotyar? Basically, Avasal. Yeah, Kotyar. I don't know how to pronounce that. But Aaron writes, Kotyar, Avasalara's like right-hand man, that spy. And now he's like asking him for like the real information, which is pretty cool. Because now this is like the planting the seeds of the mutiny. Oh shit, Thoth, I didn't even know you were here, buddy. How's it going, pal?
Hey there, how's it going?
Good, man. Oh, I still got the Con Air background.
I still have the awful habit of never checking Discord, or else, hey, I could have joined in. I got about 30 or 35 minutes here. I can join you if you want to have my voice.
Thrilled to have you here, buddy. This is outstanding. Thank you so much for joining. I love having you on the streams. It's really fun, man.
Outstanding. Where are you at timestamp wise here? You're
20. There's a 21:35 right in the middle. Souther is back to interrogating Kotyar, and he just got busted. Dude, isn't Kotyar a gangster? Like,
he is a little bit gangster, ain't he?
He's so badass, and he's got like what looks like a broken nose, which gives him like this extra toughness you know, like a kind of a glimmer of toughness that you just can't, you know, duplicate.
Oh, I love the casting. Like I said, the last time I was on to visit you there, he exemplifies that character. I love that character.
Yeah. Like there's something about, they always say like in entertainment that there's no like award for casting. And honestly, I think that there should be. I think, you know, the SAG Awards have like an ensemble cast kind of thing, but like there is something to be said for the art and the genius of a really good casting department. And like this show is stunning in how good their casting is.
Well, if you're really a fan of the source material, whether it's the extended universe of Star Wars, because there's been a lot of casting there that's been spot on this year, and or if it's the Expanse or Starship Troopers you were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy. It is a major factor in getting all those people who are huge fans of the books to come onto your show and love it. Because if you love the characters, you love the writing, you're going to love the show, and then you're going to make lots of money, especially if they make action figures and stuff.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, here's a great example. Are the someone's beeping out there? Are the Harry Potter book adaptations and the Twilight book adaptations? Jake D in the house. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Hey, Jake D. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Because if you remember, I mean, those books were huge. And they lived in everyone's brains so much. And that when the casting came out and they really nailed it, like the kids look like how they're written in the book. Like they all kind of like, oh, that's it. That's how I saw Ron. Of course, Snape. You know, that's how I saw Harry Potter. Like they're all really spot on. So it's such a smooth transition into the movies. And it really, I think it elevates like fan interest like right away.
Yeah, fair enough. I was never really a fan of the books. My partner she was the more the fan of the books and stuff than I was, but the movies were great, and the casting was great. Like that trio was very well cast. They had some good chemistry, and I think that's another thing that we forget too is having a good chemistry within the actors. And
to the Expanse, I think if you watch any interviews, especially like group cast interviews, they seem to really love each other. Like
absolutely, yeah. They all kind of work so well off each other. We all know that Amos is my favorite of the main crew, right?
He's the best.
He's the best, man. He just chews up the scene. But Thomas Jane too was a very surprising casting there, because after reading the first few books, I went, no, they didn't cast Thomas Jane. But that first time we see him, I'm like, I loved him. That was great casting. Same with Frankie too, you know, as Robbie. It was just great casting.
It's true. She's really how she's described in the book. I think, you know, maybe a little bit shorter, not quite as muscular, but it's still pretty damn close. Speaking of Thomas Jane, dude, did you know that he has a graphic novel company, Tom Jane?
Oh, really?
Yeah, check this out. It's I learned about it the other day. It's called Raw Studios, and he does like graphic novels.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. I loved him as the Punisher. I thought he was pretty good, although the plot was a little weak and I had some issues with it. I loved him as the Punisher.
I thought he was great. Yeah, I thought he was really great. But these are like, this is like his art and stuff like that. And I think it was Draco that pointed out it looks like heavy metal. And I was like, fuck, it really does.
Oh man, good old classic heavy metal. As a big comic fanatic from the good old days, I have a lot of those old heavy metal magazines and boxes downstairs.
That's pretty cool.
And the movie too was great.
That's how I know heavy metal. I saw the movie. I've seen it a few times. I saw it when I was in college, and I was like high, and I was like blown away by it. I thought it was so great. You know, and I was just like, oh man, like the one where with a guy, and he's just like,
well, he's the nicest man I've ever heard. He's never done an unkind thing to any.
You should kill him, hanging dude, like that whole guy. And then how
that's awesome.
And he buys him off at the end. And I was just like, dude, that's like the power of money and greed. You know, I was like going off on it like one of those like college kids having an epiphany. You know.
And there's Naomi too. You're at the scene with Naomi and Holden there, eh? And is that where you're at?
I'm a little beyond that. I'm at 2652. Katoa is in the creature, and he's freaking out.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
Yeah,
I was a little behind you.
Yeah. Stern. That's great. That's great. I actually just watched that a few months ago. It was really fun.
And the sets, man, and the sets
are
just amazing. Because the thing is, the thing that I've had some problems with Star Trek Discovery and some of the more recent crap that they're calling science fiction out there.
Sure.
I think that a lot of the sets are not as good as The Expanse. They've obviously got a lot of love for the show because you don't get pulled out of the show when you're watching it. It really looks realistic. It looks like, I mean, the scientist is wearing the scientist jacket and the walls all look real. Well, they are real. And that's the big difference.
So good. Like it looks like it's, I was saying when they first got to Io, like it really looks like it's bored into like the planet crust or the moon crust, you know, like there's stone walls and like big airlocks. It just looks amazing. Like it looks so authentic.
I appreciate using CGI to kind of boost your special effects and that. And but you know what? Nothing replaces realism.
No,
you got to go with the realism, man.
There's a texture to it that is just irreplaceable, even if it's not as convincing, or you know, there's still something more, I don't know, tactile, human about it that is much more interesting to the eye, I think.
Agreed. And The Expanse does it so well. The special effects are just so spot on in this show.
I mean, look how cool this set is. Look at the elevator that just came up with like these clear windows and shit. It's like the bridge of the Nathan Hale. Like that looks amazing.
The Agatha King there.
Agatha King. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just.
I love those uniforms too. The UN uniforms are pretty sharp. I like it too.
Absolutely sharp as hell. I love it, man. I was commenting on the costumes earlier, just how slick they look, and like Avasarala's like she's wearing the Razorback like racing outfit.
Yeah,
and it's like she looks hot.
And if you go through here too, every once in a while, there's one of the crewmen or something. You go, hey, I know him. He was in another show like The Flash, or like it's funny how you can see some of these actors and how they all kind of cross pollinate into different sci-fi shows. I guess once you get cast for one of the, like right here, like I mean, that like the captain and the first officer there, and
you know them from other things.
Yeah, the guy on the right. Damn, it's escaping me.
His name is Matthew Bennett.
There you go.
I have the X-ray on the stream, so that's why I can pull that up real quick. I don't
Stargate Atlantis, or was it Atlantis? No, I think he was in Stargate too.
Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, BSG. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he's in Battlestar Galactica, and I guess he was in. So I don't really know Battlestar Galactica. So there was like a movie in 2003, is that right? And then a show. How does this work? I don't know how like it. I know it was like
you mean the re-envisioned Battlestar Galactica, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. There was kind of a movie, like a made-for-TV movie that they did like 2 parts, which was the annihilation of the 13 colonies. Well, 12 colonies plus the 13th is Cobol, but and man who becomes Earth, right? But that's different. I'm going to go down into a rabbit hole if I keep talking BSG. I love BSG. I'm a 70s BSG fan, but the reboot really grabbed me. So yeah, they did that, and then they did several seasons.
Well, speaking of what you were just saying about the people doing sci-fi, it's like that woman who plays Starbuck that you guys really dig. What's her face?
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah,
Katie Sackhoff.
Like,
yeah.
She's in that show. It's not very good, but she's in a Netflix show. I think it's like Another World or something like that, or Another Planet. And she's like a astronaut, and now she's like in The Mandalorian. Like she's kind of like a sci-fi kind of queen,
Yeah, she keeps being cast for all those sci-fi roles. I know that she was in. I think she made some appearances in Longmire too, but I think one of her most memorable roles for me was in Riddick, because I'm a big sucker for the Riddick. Yeah, I'm a Riddick fan. I love those movies I'm a big lover of the Riddick fans, or the Riddick movies.
Personally, I don't know how well they aged. You know what I mean? Like I remember enjoying both of them when they were new. As I watch them now, I find it difficult to immerse myself in them. However, I will say the world building in both of those is great.
Yeah. Was it Another Life you were talking about?
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Yes, Another Life.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I wonder if it's
No,
any
it's not. It's not.
good. So I can skip that one.
Yeah.
I've got like 10 shows queued up here I'm trying to get through, right? And Raised by Wolves is on my list right now, and I'm trying to get through it. I'm in episode 3, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm on episode 5, and I'm like, if I watch it when I was like watching it concurrently, I kind of got into it, and now that I've stepped away, I'm just like, because I was reviewing it, and I was like, I don't even care that much to review it. I'll check it out, but you know, it's fine. It's just not. It's not that interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. So far, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's got Travis Fimmel, which I love
him.
from Vikings, right?
He's great in the show too, by the way. It's not like miscast. I mean, honestly, the whole cast is very good.
Ragnar. Yeah, I loved him as Ragnar. So I thought I would give it a chance because of him. He's great. He's great in it so far. And I'm in episode 3.
It's Ridley Scott too. You know what I mean? Which is like, you know,
exactly.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's like there's some things that are kind of tough to like, it's a bit far-fetched. You know, like even for the universe they've set it up in, like the whole plastic surgery thing. Did you see that? You've seen that part, right?
Yep.
I mean, they changed their bodies too, and it's just kind of like a lot. Like what they don't smell any different. Like they're like no one around them noticed. I mean, I'm sure it's futuristic-y plastic surgery, but you're not a different body. I don't know. Like I know it's not a big deal, but I was just like, I don't know if I need this as the backstory for these two characters. Like, I don't know. I didn't find it that compelling.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it. I'll get through it and I'll see how it goes. I love the idea of the necromancer and how she's a repurposed robot and stuff. That's pretty cool. And
it's cool. And the arc is an interesting idea and all that stuff, like Earth dying and that. Speaking of which, I watched a movie last night. A buddy of mine recommended. Have you ever heard of the movie Time Trap?
Time Trap.
I'd never heard of it. I don't even think it's got an MPAA rating. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was like a Netflix or whatever.
Is that like a recent movie or is that an old one?
2017.
Oh, 2017. No, I haven't seen it.
Sorry, I just got distracted. Nagoyan just shot Souther.
Oh, that's right. That's that scene. I was like, I remember watching that too, the first time, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I remember that happen, and just like I'm watching it again. I'm like, oh, like it's very shocking.
Well, you kind of feel that there was going to be something was going to come to a head there, and but it was just so shocking, and the reactions of all the crew around the bridge were the same reactions I kind of had. I went, oh, that's why I love this show.
I love it. Like, I was saying that, like, I love that, you know, like Holden has like these like very virtuous ideals, but just having the ideals or just making actions to do the right thing doesn't necessarily pay off in this world.
Well, executing a senior officer on the bridge of a ship is just, that's wow.
Yeah. Like the mutiny, you think as you're setting it up, you think Souther and them are going to overthrow Nagoyan and it's going to work, and it fucking doesn't.
I know.
It's like, so bam. Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah. Like that's subverting your expectations. You know what I mean? That's a way to do it, you know, execute. Yeah, it's such a good show in that regard. Like I love that. And the thing is, like, you never feel like they're going for the misdirect, like, oh, you thought this was going to happen, but guess what? This happened. Like, it's always good story, I think. I feel like their choices always come out a good story.
And that's what a lot of sci-fi is missing, I think, today and nowadays. Most sci-fi is, it's the story at the expense, or the characters at the expense of the story, and it should never be that. The story should take precedence. And that's something that this show really, really takes to the full extent. I think that's part of the problem too with like Star Trek Discovery. The characters are more important than the story, and that should never happen.
It sounds like the agenda is the most important thing on that show.
Yeah, and that's Nien there, the actor who plays Nien too. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's good. Yeah.
can't pronounce. I know. Yeah, Yen. Yeah. I've never seen him either, but I mean, I've never seen him before. But Byron Mann is his name. But yeah, he's quite good. I mean, like there are very few actors on this show that I don't really like appreciate. Like I think they're all pretty impressive.
I made a comment the other night too about.
Oh, he was in Altered Carbon.
I loved her. I've loved Altered Carbon first season. The first season was really awesome.
Good. First season's really good. Have you ever read those books?
Yeah, I've been in on the Kickstarter for the role playing game too.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I read the first book. I read the first Altered, and I loved it.
Yeah, I think that the second season of Altered Carbon that's kind of where we're going. The same track we're going down, where the characters really took over from the story.
It was unwatchable. And look, all due respect to Falcon or whatever his name is, but he can't carry a show.
No,
he can't carry a show. Like he just was not interesting enough at all. And and it just felt like a whole new show. Like I was like, oh, this is like I didn't even like. I never even got invested. I was like, this is going to be woke garbage. Like, I'm not even going to bother. Like, it was, because the thing is, the first one is actually fairly woke compared to what the book is. But the world
But you had Joel Kinnaman. I mean,
you had Joel Kinnaman, and the world building was brilliant. Like, the look of that was amazing.
Dyken Lockman there in that full frontal sword duel she does there. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was dope. Like it was still had like some balls, you know, like there was things about it that they changed ultimately that I was like, why'd you change that? That's stupid. But like, you know, it was still interesting. Like the whole backstory with like what are they called? The what's the name of their like group of like soldiers?
Envoys,
and they tried to make like that they were some rebel group, and it was like they're not a rebel group. They're the opposite, actually. Like I didn't like that they did that. It gave it like this revolutionary kind of feels like but like it was still cool. It was still badass, and it was still an interesting like mystery to walk through. It was still fun. It was still enjoyable, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
No. And I mean, but I think it was but what you're saying, like how they don't put story first, I think it was Odin in Friday Night Tights yesterday that said that because of what happened with Warner Brothers and like the blockbuster probably being dead for a while, that'll lower budgets and force people to focus on story. I was like, I hope that's right, because that would be really interesting and could potentially like elevate the quality of sci-fi and all fiction over the next few years.
I agree 100%. I think I think you and Odin. Obviously, Odin's a smart guy, and so that's a big problem. I think movie companies and big budget movie companies are not going to be looking at spending, $500 million on a movie anymore. They just can't afford it. So you really need.
And
to
there's no return. There's no return on that investment.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that evolves in the next few years. But we knew this kind of was coming anyway. We knew theaters were going down. Every time I go to a movie now, my wife and I would go to a movie, and we'd go to the VIP theater, and that's like $50 a pop, right?
Absolutely.
But you're going in, and there's like half the theater's empty, and that's for a big budget first day release.
Yeah.
So I can't understand how theaters could ever survive back before COVID.
I mean, the thing with me is like theaters are almost becoming obsolete anyway, just because of like the cost versus the experience. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, the episode just ended. They launched the hybrids.
Yep, there they'll go. Yep, I'm right at the end.
Yep. But Draco. Hey, buddy, how long you been there?
I've been hanging out for a little while.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I just was watching the show. I apologize. I didn't mean to leave you hanging there.
No, that's quite all right. You were enjoying the show and having some excellent discussion with Lord Thoth about all the other things that it just makes you think about. Yeah.
But I was saying, like, save a theater experience that was particularly exceptional. I kind of felt like they were getting obsolete anyway. Like, you spend more than what I spend on a streaming service for one movie, which is a gamble. And, with the exception of like an event movie like Endgame or something like that, I mean, do I really want to gamble on what's probably going to be pandering or agenda driven or at even at best, like just kind of dull. It just kind of felt like, I'll wait and see on that. I don't really need to go spend the money. And like, as Jeremy was pointing out last night, just some jerk on their phone. You know what I mean? Just like, I don't know if I need that experience really.
Yeah, exactly. We have a home theater room downstairs in the basement. I've got a big 120-inch projector screen. That's not me, right?
No, it's not me.
Got a big projector screen, home theater room. I've set up my big speakers. I've got 7.1 surround sound or 7.2 surround sound, and I've got it's a beautiful little thing. And we've got our popcorn maker. We've got a fridge right there, and whatever we want, right? And we can sit down.
Yeah.
And we have big couches and just relax. And it costs me whatever it would cost to stream the movie or whatever.
And it's like you can pause it. You can, like you said, grab drinks, and you just go to the bathroom, and it's like,
my wife hates that part. When I pause and I turn to her and I start going, in this scene, she's like, just watch the damn movie.
That definitely sounds like me.
That's why she likes the theater better, I think.
Because you can't talk. That's funny. Yeah, I know. Like, that's kind of part of what I like about YouTube. It's just because, like, sometimes when I'm watching something, like, if no one's around, I'm talking about it. And then if someone is around, I'm talking about it, and they don't want to hear it. So it's like, it's nice to have people that, like, are signing up to hear what I've got to say, because I'm going to say it. And just hope someone likes to listen.
Hey, Deanna, good. Thanks for joining us. That's great.
Yeah, very glad to have you here, Madame. Lovely to see you, especially, like, I love the people that come back. It's like really exciting, people that are just like following along and like that excited about the Expanse. I can't wait for the new season. I realize I am pumped. I am really pumped. Like,
me too. I'm looking forward to it big time.
It's like, what, 2 weeks, I think? And then it's like 2 weeks from Thursday.
I think. 2 long weeks.
2 long weeks. Gentlemen, I hate to do this, but I have to go. I gotta log off. I got real world IRL responsibilities I have to go take care of, and they are attached to a schedule. So
in real life.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys dropping in, man. Let's definitely do some more. We'll talk about, I'll put it in the Discord. We'll connect again. This was great. I love having you guys here.
Absolutely.
It was good to join in and chat for the last little bit there.
Yeah.
Well done. I love these videos. I've watched them all. You do a great job. Great analysis, man. That's why I like watching them. Because it brings it all back again, right? You watch the episode and listen to you chatting and stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and it's cool to kind of like sit and talk about it, especially when you don't have to, like, when you're not watching it. You're talking about it. It's like you get to analyze some things.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and thank you guys for joining. That was really cool. Much appreciated. Banging out all these episodes, trying to get through all of them before the next season comes out, which is soon. When that happens, I'll be going live within a few days of every episode, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't pressed like, please do so on and so forth. Subscribe, yada, yada. Thanks for joining. You guys have a good day. We'll see you soon.
Night.
Later.
Take care.